Hello boys and girls, welcome to your drama lesson with me, Mr. Grossart. It is lovely to be back with you all again. So, this week you are going to need a few things for this lesson. You're going to need some colouring pencils and you're going to need some paper, okay? A couple of pieces of paper that's blank so that you can draw some things on it. So, make sure you've got colouring pencils and you've got blank pieces of paper, and we'll start our lesson just when you're ready, okay? So go get those things now. So boys and girls, I hope you're all ready to go. This week we are going to look at a story called George and the Dragon. So, we're going to warm up by acting out some of the characters in this story. We've got 3 characters that we're going to act out. Okay, the first one is the dragon. The second one is George, and he's a knight with a sword. And the third one is the princess, okay? So, stand up for me boys and girls, stretch to the ceiling, touch your toes, give your whole body a good shake, shake out your hands and your legs, and turn around. Very good. Alright, so, let's start with the dragon boys and girls, make sure you've got some room. What does a dragon have? Let's start with his claws. Show me the claws, big claws. Show me your big dragon tails. Show me your big dragon teeth. And give me a roar. Rawr. Now breathe fire all over me. Go! Oh, it burns! Ooh, how cruel of you, dragon. Very good. Now fly around, dragon. And look down at all the people in the village that are really scared of you. And breathe fire over everything. Very good. Okay, next character we're going to look at is George, and he's a knight. So, boys and girls, back straight. Put your hands on your hips and look very proud and important, because you are a knight, okay? You protect everybody. And you've got a sword. Now, bring the sword slowly out and show it to me. Oh, very good. Swipe it around. Very good. And put it back. You're going to need it later. And the final character we are going to act out is the princess. So you have a lovely dress on. It's a beautiful, very impressive dress. You have a crown on your head, okay? With a long veil. And you always walk with your back straight and your chin up. And you walk and you look very beautiful. And everyone wants to be your prince. Very good. Okay, so we've got our characters, boys and girls. Now, we're going to look at the story, but take a seat for me. Grab a pen and paper. Before we do that, we're just going to do a warm-up activity with some words, okay? So, these are words that are included in our story. Now the words that I'm going to pick are called verbs, okay? So verbs are doing words. Let me give you some examples. So we've got decide, okay? I decide to do something. You decide to do something. You decide to go to the fridge and get a snack. You decide to pull your sword out and kill a dragon. Okay, so decide. We understand what that means. But what would it look like if we put it into the past, okay? So what if you decide to pull your sword out, but you're describing it to someone as a story in the past, how does the word change? We need to put it into the past tense. So, I decide to pull my sword out. But if I was telling you that I did that in the past, I would say, I decided to pull my sword out. Let me give you another example of a verb in the story. We've got hurry. So, I hurry to the castle. But if I was to put it into the past tense, I would say, I hurried to the castle. Okay? Let's do one more example and then I'm going to give you some. Okay? One more example. Okay. To meet someone. So, we just meet each other. Okay? Let's meet over there. But, if we put it into the past tense, we say, we met over there. Okay, I want you to have a go at some of these, okay? I'm going to give you 4, and try your best, okay? And we'll go through them at the end. Give your best guess of what you think these verbs look like if you describe them in the past tense. So, let's do live. So, I live a very good life. So the word live, how would you change it to put it into the past tense? So the present tense is, I live a very good life. But if we're talking about someone from hundreds of years ago, they would have a good life. So, what do we think, boys and girls? You've got 10 seconds to write down your answer. Okay, the next one. So, the next verb we're going to choose is win. So, I always win the races. I can win that battle against that dragon. What is the past tense of that word win? Okay? So if I had a battle with a dragon and I was to win it, how would I change that word to describe it as if it happened many years ago? So win, it's spelled W-I-N, and we're going to change one of the letters. So have a go for that, on that now, boys and girls. And on the first one, live, we just add one letter to it, okay? That's a clue. So we've got live and we've got win. Now let's try our third one. That's going to be eat, okay? I love eating dragon meat. So if I eat dragon meat right now, that's how I would say it. I'm going to eat it now. But what if I was to do that in the past tense? So we've got the word eat, but we want it in the past tense. Now a clue for this one, boys and girls. Eat is spelled E-A-T. It's 3 letters. We're just going to move those letters around, okay? We're going to use the same letters, but we're going to change them around to make it into the past tense, okay? That's the clue, okay? It's still 3 letters. Nom nom nom, I love eating. Last one, boys and girls. Then we're going to go through the answers. Well done, you're doing so well. Okay, the last one is lose. Okay, so we had win and this is lose. So, I think I might lose the battle against the dragon. I think I might lose the battle, but what if we describe it in the past, okay? Now for this one, lose is spelled L-O-S-E. We're still going to have 4 letters in it. That's the clue, it's still 4 letters, but we're going to change one of the letters, okay? So lose, but in the past tense. Well, boys and girls, okay, stop there. Don't worry if you're missing some answers. This is all good practice. We're going to go through the answers now. So, live, okay. I live a very good life, but in the past tense, I lived a very good life. So we had live, but in the past tense it's lived. And we just put a D on the end. So I lived a very good life. That's in our story. Win. How did you get on with win? So I might win this battle with the dragon. What happens if I win it? In the past tense we say I won. He won the battle against the dragon. So it's W-O-N. Won. Very good. Eat. Okay. So I said the three letters, we use the same letters but we change them around. So I like to eat dragon meat. I ate some dragon meat. Very good. Okay, so it's A-T-E. I ate the dragon meat. And the last one was lose. The dragon might lose the battle against George. Well, the dragon lost the battle. So it's L-O-S-T. That's going to be in our story as well. So we had lived, won, ate, lost. Boys and girls, give yourself a round of applause. Very good, I'm so proud of you guys. Okay, right then. We've had a little warm up, we've got our thinking hats on. Let's look at the story of George and the Dragon.
Good.
So boys and girls, let's look at the story of George and the Dragon. I'm going to read out the story, so I'd like you to just sit back and relax, but make sure you're listening very closely. I would advise you to close your eyes, and when I read the words of the story, try and imagine everything that's going on. Really see it inside your minds, okay? And listen very closely. Here we go. So, George and the Dragon. A long time ago, in a faraway land, lived a dragon. It was big and strong, cruel and hungry, always hungry. The people from the village were afraid. They didn't want the dragon to attack them, but they needed to give the dragon some food. Together, the people of the village made a plan. Every day, they gave the dragon 2 sheep. The dragon ate the sheep and didn't attack the village. After some time, the people saw that there weren't many sheep left. They decided to give the dragon 1 sheep each day and 1 person. Every morning, they chose the person in a lottery. Nobody wants to win this lottery, but when a family lost one of its members, the village gave it lots of riches. One day the princess won the lottery. On her way to the dragon's house, she met a knight called George. He hurried to the dragon and used his sword to kill it. A beautiful red rose grew from the dragon's blood. George gave it to the princess. George later became a saint, and his symbol is the red rose. The end. Okay, boys and girls, open your eyes. So, George and the Dragon, were you listening closely? I've got some questions for you based on that story, okay? I'd like you to answer these questions. Here we go. So, can you tell me what the dragon was like? Use some describing words for me, boys and girls. What was the dragon like? Very good. Okay. Second question based on the story. Why did the people from the village give the dragon food? Very good, okay. How did they choose which person to give to the dragon? And finally, what happened when George killed the dragon? So let's just go back for those answers, boys and girls. What was the dragon like? Well, in the story, the first part of the story, it says it was big and strong, cruel and hungry. Always hungry. So he's not a very nice dragon, boys and girls. And he's always hungry. Are you always hungry? Okay. Then I asked you, why did the people from the village give the dragon food? So they were afraid that the dragon was going to attack them. And because he was always hungry, they decided, oh, if we give him food, then he won't attack the village. Now remember, dragons can breathe fire, can't they? He might have set alight to the village. He might have destroyed the village. He might have eaten all the people in one go. So they were scared and they were trying to keep him full of food so that he wouldn't attack them. Now, then I asked you, how did they choose which person to give to the dragon? So in the story, it says they used a lottery. So, maybe your parents play the lottery. That's a much better lottery than in this story. The lottery is they're picking names at random, okay? So maybe they put all the people's names of the village in a hat, and then each day they pull a name out the hat. That would be a lottery. So they used a lottery. It was luck. Okay, and then the last question I asked was, what happened when George killed the dragon? Well, a beautiful red rose came up from the dragon's blood. And he gave it to the princess, didn't he? Okay then, boys and girls. I'm going to read you the first part of the story again. And then you're going to do some drawing for me, okay? So, here we go, the first part of the story. A long time ago, in a faraway land, lived a dragon. It was big and strong, cruel and hungry. Always hungry. So, at the start of the lesson we acted out the dragon. I want you now, with your colouring pencils and your paper, to draw the best dragon that you can for me, okay? And remember these words when you're drawing it. A long time ago, in a faraway land, lived a dragon. It was big, strong, cruel, and hungry. Always hungry. Boys and girls, you've got 5 minutes to draw your dragon for me, okay? Here we go. Great stuff, boys and girls. I hope you've all got a great looking dragon on your pieces of paper. So, now you've got your dragon, you're going to tell the first part of the story. So, the first part of the story is, a long time ago, in a faraway land, lived a dragon. It was a big and strong, cruel and hungry, always hungry. So I'm going to put these words on the screen, and I want you to hold up your dragon, and I want you to read out the first part of the story, okay? Now, when you're telling the story, I want you to take a deep breath before you start. Say the words nice and slowly. Imagine you're reading them to me or the rest of the class. And make your words nice and clear, okay? So a deep breath and then nice and clear. And hold up your dragon whilst you're doing it, okay? So I'm going to put the words on the screen and you're going to read the first part of the story. Here we go. Amazing stuff, boys and girls. Well done. Give yourselves a round of applause. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so the final part of the story goes like this. A beautiful red rose grew from the dragon's blood. George gave it to the princess. George later became a saint, and his symbol is the red rose. Now, boys and girls, you're going to draw a red rose for me, okay? I'm going to put one on the screen just to help you, but you're going to draw a red rose, so you've got a few minutes to do that now for me, okay? Here we go. Okay, well done, boys and girls. Show me your rows. Lovely. Okay. So, now we're going to do the same thing again, but you're going to read out the final bit of the story, okay? So, I'm going to put the words on the screen now. Let's just read them together. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. A beautiful red rose grew from the dragon's blood. George gave it to the princess. George later became a saint, and his symbol is the red rose. The end. Okay, boys and girls, you're now going to practice reading that and hold up your red rose, okay? So you've got a few minutes now just to practice. Remember, take a deep breath and speak the words slowly and clearly. Okay, here we go. Okay, boys and girls, well done, that was great. Now we're going to finish off with the whole story, and we're going to do some acting. We can perform this story now. So, this is what's going to happen. You're going to stand up at the front of the stage. You're going to read the first part of the story with the picture of your dragon for the audience. And then I'll read the middle bit of the story. And as I'm reading it, I want you to act out what I'm saying, okay? So with the different characters in the story, you can act out what I'm saying in the story. And then I'm going to hand over to you for the last part. And you're going to read the words on the screen and hold up your picture of your rose. Okay, are we ready? You need your pictures ready and you need some space around you, okay? And lots of imagination and energy. Here we go. So, I'm going to introduce you. Please come to the front of the stage for the reading of George and the Dragon. Here we go. The people from the village were afraid. They didn't want the dragon to attack them, but they needed to give the dragon some food. Together, the people of the village made a plan. Every day, they gave the dragon 2 sheep. Bah! The dragon ate the sheep and didn't attack the village. After some time, the people saw that there weren't many sheep left. They decided to give the dragon 1 sheep each day and 1 person. Every morning, they chose the person in a lottery. Nobody wants to win this lottery. But when a family lost one of its members, the village gave it lots of riches. One day, the princess won the lottery. On her way to the dragon's house, she met a knight called George. He hurried to the dragon and used his sword to kill it. And now it's your turn to finish the story, boys and girls. Off you go. Amazing stuff, boys and girls! Give yourselves a round of applause! Very, very, very good! We're going to sing goodbye, and I will see you next week. But well done today, you've done so, so well. Here we go! Time to end the lesson. I hope you had fun and it was interesting. Goodbye, goodbye, one more time. Goodbye. Well done, boys and girls. I'll see you next week.